Hey, beautiful. So it is 1:30 in the morning right now, and I felt inspired to make this video because it's something that I talk about a lot on my TikTok account. It's something that I talk about a lot on my live streams with a lot of you who seek advice on moving on from someone that you know is toxic or abusive or unhealthy, or moving on from an attachment to someone or a connection to someone that you know that you need to let go and move on from. And I want to start this video by saying that I don't want you to watch this and get the idea that I'm this totally well-rounded, healthy person who's constantly implementing these things in my life. Right now, I'm really struggling, and I've been in a cycle with an unhealthy attachment for me for a really long time now. But I think along the way, I've gained a lot of wisdom and learned a lot of things. And this isn't going to be a video that's going to help you move on from him tomorrow. Him, her, them, whatever. I might use a lot of language that is not inclusive of all genders, but men are always the fucking toxic ones. So, but take it as it resonates, I guess. I sound like a fucking tarot card reader. Okay. Oh, sorry. So, okay, what the fuck was I even saying? Oh, okay. So I think this isn't going to be a video where you're just going to be able to move on from this person tomorrow or let go of this unhealthy attachment and be healed and at peace and ready to live your life. This is ways to make things a little easier and help you feel better and help you let go more. And it's really, really hard. I just want to validate that for you right now and for myself. It's really hard. It's really painful. It's really scary. My first advice for you watching this is if you feel like you've experienced a lot of unhealthy relationships with people and that your relationships are painful and you have behaviors in relationships where you feel super triggered and you don't know why, definitely research on attachment styles, because it's really going to help you understand yourself, how you function in relationships, maybe things in your past or your childhood that wounded you, and you recreate that in your relationships today. And another thing I want to say is please try to let go of any self-blame. This is something that I struggle with a lot. We are wired to connect and attach to people. Needing people isn't wrong, and attachments, no one is immune to them. Everyone has them. And sometimes we attach to people that really aren't right for us or don't make us happy or aren't the best for our lives. And it's really, really hard and excruciating to let go. And it comes with a lot of messy, painful thoughts and experiences. But I just really wanted to make this video to make things easier for you and share some of my wisdom that I've learned along the way, just to help you move on. So, the thing that I struggled with the most when trying to let go of someone and move on from an unhealthy attachment, I don't want to say unhealthy attachment because attachments in general aren't necessarily unhealthy, but just being attached to someone who's unhealthy for you. The biggest thing that I struggled with was every day saying, I don't want to be attached to them anymore. I don't want to think about them anymore. I don't want to feel this way anymore. And so every single time that a thought about this person came up, or I missed them, or I thought about a good memory, or I thought about a painful memory, it scared me. And it made me feel bad about myself because I thought that this was just so bad and so unhealthy, and I just wanted to let it go already. Accept that you are in the process of moving on. Accept that you haven't moved on. Accept that maybe you're not ready to move on. Accept that you still have affection for this person. Accept where you are right now and tell yourself, put your hands over your heart, look at yourself in a big mirror, right in your eyes, and say, no matter how you're feeling right now or what you're going through or how you feel about this person, if you talked to this person last night, no matter what, it's okay. You're gonna be okay because I'm still gonna be with you. I won't leave you alone with this. It's okay. It's okay. Just accept yourself for where you are right now. I'm sure it's not your fault. I'm sure if tomorrow, if you had the ability and the feelings of self-worth and self-esteem and strength to like forget about them and fucking move on and be free and be all healed up and have a secure attachment style, you would. It's not your fault. Some people got really hurt. Some people have more needs than others. It's not your fault. Okay? No matter what messages you're fucking hearing online about how needing people is so wrong, it's not. Another book I really recommend is called Attached. I really don't remember the author right now, but if you search Attached book, you'll definitely find it. So yeah, that really helped me with self-compassion and understanding my attachment style. But yeah, getting off topic here. Another thing that I was really perplexed about throughout the process of moving on was feeling like I had all of this wisdom. I did all of this learning. I followed all these TikTok accounts about moving on from emotionally unavailable people. And I found all of these terms and labels and names for the behaviors that were going on in the relationship and the cycle that I was in. And I learned things about myself. I learned things about the other person. I knew everything that was going on. But it was like, what now? Like, I know all of these things. I understand that I have an anxious attachment style. I understand that this person is emotionally unavailable. I understand that the fact that I keep choosing partners who can't meet my needs or make me happy, or that I keep choosing partners who treat me like garbage. I understand that that has to do with my wounding and my low self-worth and my low self-esteem and things like that. I understood all of these things, but that didn't help me move out of it. It helped me be more self-aware, but sometimes wisdom isn't enough. It starts with making choices, and that ties into inner child work and reparenting yourself. So something that I've been doing recently is whenever I stop talking to this person, it's normal for human beings when they lose an attachment, no matter how fucking miserable it made you, to want it back desperately, especially if you're really codependent on this person and really base your self-worth and happiness on this other person. So when this attachment goes away, you feel a desperate, insecure need for reconnection. And that, in the age of social media, often leads to social media stalking, which is something that I really struggled with. It always made me feel bad afterwards, and I felt like it always kept me stuck. When I knew that, you see, and I was going to say, I knew, I was going to say I should have been moving on. That's toxic. I got to stop talking to myself like that. I should be moving on. It's hard. A little self-compassion goes a long way, but yeah. I knew that it wasn't productive to me moving on, right? So something that I began doing was every single time that I had an obsessive thought loop about this person or wanted to stalk their social media, whenever I had a toxic thought or urge, I immediately stop that thought and say, no, I love you, to myself. And that's the point. Sometimes wisdom isn't enough. You need to make a choice, and that's my choice, not to stalk their social media, to stop those thoughts with, no, I love you, to me. That's showing myself, no, I'm not going to do this because I love me. I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to protect me. I'm going to make the best decisions for me and what I know is best for me. See what I mean? So that goes into kind of reparenting this inner child who's insecure and has all of these unmet needs and is lonely and desperate and craving connection and attention. And these aren't bad things. This is a sign of someone who's really wounded and deprived. And that's how I feel. But reparenting is coming as the mature person who, no matter how badly you want to go on a social media and see whose girls' pictures he's liking and who he's following and what he's posting, I need to focus on me. I'm not going to do things that feed into my feeling of worthlessness and loneliness and abandonment and deprivation. I'm not going to do that. So that ties in with the next thing. When you're obsessively thinking about someone and particularly stalking their social media, it kind of reinforces this message in your mind of, I'm worthless, I'm alone, I was abandoned. yada, 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 right? And these things, they're not true, right? So that they're not true. I keep making fun of myself. I'm insane. All right, I have to stop. So, at least for me, that rings true, and maybe you relate to that too. It just feeds into feelings of worthlessness and low self-esteem and abandonment and making this person my higher power, whatever. That's where the affirmations kick in. After you stop yourself and stop your urge from doing things that are bad for you, which is very much easier said than done. And please do not beat yourself up if you are doing these things. It's coming out of a very hurt place, and you should feel so sad for yourself instead of berating yourself for things that are really normal and really common and not your fault. Okay? Anyway, so have a little self-compassion. The same way you show for others, you should be showing to yourself. Okay. And I should be taking that my own advice. But anyway, sorry, I keep going off on insane tangents, I think. But sorry, I have to burp. Okay. Those are where the affirmations come in. After you stop your thought, you can tell yourself a message that you need to hear. Remind yourself. I have lists of affirmations in my notes. Remind yourself of these things. Remind yourself moving on is the right choice. And I am going to make the best decisions for myself. And look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm with you. You're not alone. I love you. I'm going to make the best choices for you. I don't want you to be with an emotionally unavailable person. You weren't happy when you were with that person. You were in pain. I will protect you. Say these things to yourself. Find some affirmations that resonate with you. I can even make a separate video with a lot of affirmation lists that I have. A lot of them are about body image, eating disorder recovery, codependency recovery, things like that. So yeah, another thing that would be great that I actually haven't started yet is starting a gratitude journal, writing in it every day, or at least reading one every day. And when I first started like recovering from the variety of issues that I have, when people would talk about like having a gratitude journal and being grateful and gratitude, I kind of rolled my eyes and got annoyed because like I don't want to be grateful for anything. Actually, I've constantly been struggling, and I was just had this really bleak mindset about things. Like I wanted to be happy, but it was like gratitude for what? But gratitude can be found in everything. Like in my gratitude journal, I feel grateful that I found a really cute squishmallow of a sloth the other day at Five Below, and I feel grateful that I have a bunch of cute scrunchies, and I feel grateful that I live in a nice community, and I feel grateful that I have a beautiful sister who cares about me. And when you read these things, it gives you a sense of strength that you are a person too. You are more than this toxic dynamic with this person. You have other things in your life. You have reasons to be happy. They are not your center. They do not define you. They will not end you, right? So I think it all comes with choices. Sometimes when I would text this person again, a fucking paragraph, like, how could you do this to me? When I was all triggered, or I would go on their social media and look at their story and stalk all the people that they're following, which even right now brings up feelings of such anxiety and pain and like a drop in my stomach because it's painful stuff. Tell me if you relate to that, because I want to know that I'm not alone with that. It's painful stuff. Every time that I did these things, even though I was conscious that I was doing it, it felt like another vehicle was driving my body. You know, it felt like it felt like I couldn't stop, and that even though I knew it was bad for me, there was something in me that just had to. But choices is exerting self-control. I choose not to stalk your social media anymore. I choose not to talk to you, even if I'm having all these feelings of, oh my God, like I have to reestablish contact. Like I have to tell him these thoughts in my head of like, how the fuck could you do this to me? And you put me through so much pain, and this is how you made me feel. Listen, babe, you don't have to be at this place of acceptance and compassion where you are so fucking zen and you see their issues and you accept everything and you're so at peace and you're so happy. It's okay to have uncomfortable feelings. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to feel self-righteous. It's okay to be triggered. If you're not there yet, you're not there yet. but just sit with them and make the choice to be with yourself instead of going back to a situation that is ultimately going to hurt you. Another thing you can do is frequent reality checks, right? So one thing that I did that actually really helped me a lot is when I would be at a really emotional point, say after this person said or did something that left me feeling really neglected, abandoned, hurt, angry, disappointed. And it's not so much about blaming them, but just seeing how this is affecting you and how it's not sustainable and how it's leaving you in a substantial amount of pain. So every time that I would be crying hysterically, and crying is great and healthy, and I encourage you to cry and journal and let things out. And I'll make a separate video about journaling because I know a lot of people have requested tips about that. But when I cry and get emotional and I'm kind of in the thick of my emotions, tears are clarifying for me. They help me to have self-compassion and see how much pain that I'm in, and that no matter the messy details or who said this and who said that, I don't deserve to be in this pain. And any relationship that's making me so upset and stressed out and insecure like this all the time isn't worth it to be in my life, and it's not going to work out. And I know that's so hard to accept, and I have held on with a death grip knowing all of these facts, but it takes time. And I don't have everything figured out yet, but I'm hoping that this video can make things a little easier for you. So another thing I would do, getting to my point, is when I would cry, I would make videos of myself kind of talking to myself and saying, hey, like, this is the reality of what's going on. I'm in so much pain. This is how I feel. This is what happened. I remember one particular night when I realized, like, this is so much and this has to be over between this person. It just has to be over. And I was crying to myself in the camera saying, you can come back to me now, because I felt like this dynamic always took me away from myself. And it left me really insecure and triggered and anxious. And it wasn't my fault, you know? I'm not saying it was anyone's fault, but it was all valid and understandable. And I would just tell myself, you don't have to do this anymore. Just encourage myself. And it's nice to have that reality check reminder. Another thing you can do is create a pros and cons list and read it, you know? Now, another advice that I have is, while it is great to vent, it's great, it's great to vent to people about things that happen and your feelings and your growth. Notice when you are talking about this to create a false sense of connection. And this is something that I would do a lot. Say if I was in a conversation with someone and they said something that reminded me of this person that I know that isn't really good for me and that I'm trying to move on from and let go of. And then I'll be like, oh, that reminds me of this person, and then go into a whole story and then start talking about them more. What you're doing is kind of relieving this attachment injury from being separated from this person, and talking about them is fueling it in your mind when you're really just trying to move on. So refrain from the urge to constantly be talking about this person. And that's something when I'm feeling really alone and I really want to talk to this person and have connection with them again, but I know that it's really not good for me in the long run, I have the urge to text people and start ranting about it. And I have to ask myself before, like, is this going to be productive to me? Or is this just another way that I'm choosing to be stuck in this situation and hyper-focused and fixated on this person? Right. And that's essentially what it is. It's me choosing to have my life delved into this person. So yeah, but don't get that confused with healthy venting and talking about things and sorting things out. I think you'll be able to discern the difference between the two. Sorry. And another thing is healthy distractions. Now, something that really, really helped me, not even just with moving on, but my own mental health, was having a routine. Now, deciding before I go to bed, this is when I'm going to wake up, and this is what I'm going to do when I wake up, and I'm going to eat this cereal, not to get confused with meal planning, but toxic meal planning, but, and then I'm gonna, and then I'm gonna go to this park, and then I'm gonna read this book at this park, and having a routine. Like, for example, my morning routine would be to wake up. I'll set a nice little note on my alarm on my iPhone, like it says time to wake up, beautiful. Mind you, I do not do this every day, and sometimes I really fall off the rails, but this will be so significant in improving your mental health and giving you a sense of purpose, right? So these are healthy distractions. And I would go to Home Goods. That's my favorite store. You know, maybe I'd spend a little bit too much money. That's a little toxic, but it's okay. You know, I would go to the park and I would read this book, or I would do this, and I would wake up in the morning and I would do my skincare routine, and then I would do something with my hair, and then I would put on an outfit that I laid out for myself the night before, and then I would make my bed, and it sets your tone for the day, and it gives you purpose and makes you feel like a person. Right. So, God, that tasted like shit. All right, I'm sorry. So, yeah, but not to get confused, but sometimes when you're in the mode of like, I cannot be still ever, that is when it gets really unhealthy. Like, for example, when you're brushing through life and like you go to this destination and then you have to go to that destination, and then you have to go to that destination and that destination, and when it's time to go home and go in your room and be still, like you really don't want to, and you're racking your brain for other things to do, which is me. I do that a lot. You have to ask yourself, what am I avoiding? Why don't I want to be alone with myself? The thing that I like to do a lot that's really comforting is when I'm feeling like that, I'll kind of just like glide my thumb over my knee and self-soothe, or I'll go like this and I'll hold myself and just repeat to myself, it's okay. It's okay. Just comforting things, because I deserve love and so do you, and you deserve to get better because you're a person, and that's just that. So I really promote healthy crying, and I'm kind of losing my train of thought, but these are the most key things that I wanted to say in this video. And I think the thing that I want you to get the most out of this is make choices for yourself. They're sometimes hard, they conflict with how you're feeling and thinking, but there is an inner wisdom in you and a parent in you that's going to tell that wounded inner child, I'm here now. I'm the adult. I'm going to make the best decisions for you. I'm in control. I'm in control, and I'm going to do these things for you. I'm going to protect you. Just stop those thoughts with, no, I love you, and I'm not going to do this anymore. I hope that this motivated you, gave you some hope, made you feel better. I need you to know that if you're in a relationship or a situationship or an attachment with someone where you feel like is draining you or negatively affecting you or hurting you, first of all, I seriously encourage you to go on my TikTok account, which is emmalou444, and go through my following. Sometimes I make my account private a lot, but if you follow me, that's great. Go through my following. You can see a lot of accounts that help with healing and recovering from really toxic relationships. And also, I just want you to know that there's no reason for you to blame yourself. This is really common, and it's really hurtful and really hard to let go of. And don't let anybody, especially this toxic ass culture online, tell you that you're weak or needy. I hate that word. Everyone has needs. It's fucking normal. Just don't let anyone make you feel bad or shame you. And you're going to be okay. And I believe in you. I believe you have the ability to do what's best for you and love yourself completely. And you have the strength. And even if you're not ready right now, I just really hope that this encourages you. If you find yourself here, just know that that's reason enough to walk away from someone who's hurting you. And I just want you to know that I'm with you and I believe in you. And sometimes I don't believe in myself. I wonder if I'll ever be secure in myself. I wonder if I'll ever be in a healthy relationship, emotionally, sexually. And it really hurts, and it's been a lot of damage, but I'm really, really trying, and I hope that this helped you in some way. And it's just little choices every single day that can lead you to where you want to go. And I know this is corny and kind of overused, but progress truly isn't linear. Like, Even if you have a couple of bad days, that doesn't erase all of the wisdom and moments where you truly felt like it was possible for you to move on and that you loved yourself. That's not gonna go away just because a couple of bad nights or a few times that you like fucked your toxic ex. Like, I promise you, just try your best to take care of yourself. And I really hope this video helped you, and I'm with you.